Hi there, students. To scotch, to preclude, to forestall, to thwart, and to stymie. These are all words with the meaning of prevent, but they have slightly different nuances. Okay, to scotch means to put an end to something, to put an abrupt end to something. To scotch a rumour, that sounds like a really good collocation for me. I confiscate mobile phones that students take into class. This scotches any possibility of phones going off during class. To scotch, like to burn, to stop it from happening. It's not going to happen anymore. Okay, so when you scotch something, there's something happening and you put an abrupt, a direct end to it. To preclude. Now, I actually have a video about the word to preclude on its own. To preclude is to prevent something from happening, to make it impossible, or to prevent someone from doing something. A bit like Scotch, but different. Okay, so the fact that he didn't have a degree precluded his application for the job. So the possibility was shut before he started. My lack of money precludes any ideas of going out this weekend. Well, maybe the lockdown precludes any thoughts of me going out this weekend. So a situation makes it impossible for someone to do something, to preclude. The bad weather precluded our picnic. Yeah, the circumstances meant that it wasn't possible. Okay, to forestall. This means to prevent or obstruct something by taking action in advance, doing something beforehand so that something is precluded. It's impossible or very difficult for it to happen. So the politician forestalled the publication of the article by going to court. He got a court order, and the court order forestalled the publication. Okay, so to forestall is to take action beforehand to stop something happening. Notice to scotch, it's already happening and you take action to stop it. If you forestall something, you hope to preclude it. Yeah, you act before and you hope to make it impossible. Okay, to thwart, to prevent from accomplishing. Somebody has an objective, an idea, an aim, an objective, and somebody or something can thwart them, prevent them from reaching that objective. So he wanted to become a teacher, but he failed his exams, and this thwarted his ambitions to become a teacher. He was then precluded from becoming a teacher because he didn't have the necessary qualifications or condition. And then to stymie, to prevent or to hinder or to make more difficult. My car was stuck in the mud. I was stymied. I couldn't go forwards and I couldn't go backwards. So somebody's trying to do something and you stymie them. You make it more difficult for them to do it. Thwart is stronger than stymie. If you stymie someone, you make it more difficult, and maybe you thwart them or maybe you don't. But to thwart gives the idea of to prevent them from doing it. So let's try an example. I'm a runner and I have a competitor. So I stymied him by tripping him in the race. I hindered his progress. Yeah? So by tripping him, I stymied his progress. But he broke a leg. And that thwarted him, or thwarted his chances of winning the race. Killed them completely. And the broken leg forestalled him going to the Olympics. Okay? My action forestalled his going to the Olympics. I did something which prevented him from going to the Olympics. I tripped him and he broke his leg. The broken leg precluded, made impossible his participation in the Olympics. And after that, he was never able to run again. So I put an end to his career as a runner. I want to hold a music festival this summer, but I've had great problems getting the legal authorizations to do it, and this at the moment is stymieing me. If I don't get these legal authorizations, it will thwart my intentions, my objective of holding the festival. I think somebody complained and made an objection, and this has forestalled the council giving me the necessary permissions. So they've acted in advance, and this has forestalled the permissions and therefore the concert. A lack of the necessary license will preclude any possibility of holding the concert. But I think I'm going to go ahead anyway. So I held the concert, and while the concert was on, the police came and shut the concert down. They scotched the festival. Okay, and that's the idea. Let's look at the formality. To stymie, this is quite old-fashioned. It's a bit literary. I'd probably give it 6.5, 7 out of 10. To thwart, again, 6.5, 7 out of 10. To forestall, I think even more formal, 7, 7.5. To preclude, 7, 7.5. And to scotch, maybe a little less formal, 6, 6.5, something like that. Notice all of these verbs are regular verbs. Stymie, stymied, stymied. Thwart, thwarted, thwarted. Forestall, forestalled, forestalled. Preclude, precluded, precluded. Scotch, scotched, scotched. Now, just one more thing. Let's look at some origins. Well, apparently to stymie comes from golf. And this is where there are 2 balls on the putting green. And one ball is directly between the other ball and the hole. So the ball that is further out is stymied. And that's the origin of that one. Thwart comes from a Norse word, Thwart, which means across. Yeah, we even have the word athwart, crossways, in English. So, yeah, if something's crossing your path, it's going to make things more difficult. The origin of forestall is a really interesting one. Okay, a stall, a market stall where you sell things. And to forestall used to mean to buy up all of the goods before they reached market, and therefore they weren't available for sale on the stalls. Yeah? So you buy it all up before it happens, and you prevent them from being sold on the market. To preclude comes from Latin, prae, before, and claudere, to shut. Okay, to shut before, that's clear. And then to scotch comes from a Middle English word, scochen, or something like that, meaning to cut. And if you scotch something, you cut it. You stop it from continuing. So, to stymie, to prevent, make more difficult. To thwart, to stop, to prevent somebody reaching their objective. To forestall, to act and do something beforehand so that something cannot happen. To preclude means to make impossible. Normally a situation precludes something else. And to scotch, something that's already started and you put an abrupt end to it. You cut it. So, enough. There's been nothing in my video today. How lucky I am. So, if you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Stymie, thwart, forestall, preclude, and scotch.